Hello. Y- how you guys doing tonight, today, wherever you at? Well, I'm doing pretty good. I hope you guys gonna have a good new year going into the new year, and hope you be well and be blessed and prosper. Well, I'm on the video tonight going to show you from my tablet again. And this is a topic on some people why. Now it's going to be sensitive. It doesn't reflect what I think. But at the time, I thought it was pretty intriguing how some people they put the analogy and they claim that interracial relationships are part of agenda. And you should see my previous video. I don't have nothing against anybody's interracial agenda or anything like that. But I find this is kind of it's not gonna be long. I got a couple of clips I'm going to kind of go through, so I won't be as like you know real long on one clip. But it's gonna start with Muhammad Ali.
I'll tell you what, the integrated couples don't make it. I can make it won't make it. They just don't make it, and the world's against it, and God's against it. It ain't because we hate each other. They're paying black women
It's
not to
40
have
million,
babies
not
now.
20 million?
Yeah, they're paying black women not to have babies now. They got all kind of plans to stop our race. Come on, I said make one black, make one white, put them together, everything's right. Years ago they keep it out of sight, but these commercials are dynamite. That's not cute. These diamonds and tattoos, sex with me, white trust will not get clear. These interracial couples selling stuff. These interracial couples selling stuff. Can I help you, man?
Do you think these glasses suit me?
No.
Oh, right.
Should have gone to Specsavers.
But people must know before they can act, and there is no educator to compare with the press.
Welcome to Ford's camera action, guys. Now, pay special attention to who's pushing the narrative, and then pay special attention to who isn't for the narrative. And then ask yourself, why are these people pushing such a narrative? And then also ask yourself, have you been indoctrinated by their narrative? Have you been made to feel bad for wanting to be amongst yourself? And if so, do you now suffer with self-hate? I hope you find all of this interesting. And as always, people, provoking thought.
Many of us didn't see this agenda because it was so well tuned. But once you see the agenda, your heart does move.
This one goes out to all the interracial couples. All of the interracial couples who are used for selling things in adverts. Come on. You can't resist this world. That's right. You're an interracial couple in an advert. Black girl and a white girl in a t-shirt. Let's stretch it along. You're an interracial couple in an
She sung a song.
Wow, that's real love. Tear those boxes, break down those walls.
So you know we're here so you can meet my new boyfriend.
Yeah, I'm happy for you, Mom. You deserve it.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, sweetie. message of blacks marrying whites, whites marrying blacks. That's the same thing, Don.
No, but look, he wants to assure all of us that he's not racist, okay?
No.
So let's go ahead and watch video number 4, where he specifies how much he loves black women.
Oh, yes.
Tell me what good, smart, intelligent, beautiful colored woman would want to have a baby by a white man to make it a mulatto. Not sense. Many things the colored, now listen, white folks, many things the colored people has is far beyond the white man. This is not a white supremacist saying this. This is not a racist saying this. This is a man who loves Jews.
So, I don't know where in the Bible it says that you can't, like, mix the races, but this argument that they make about how it's not natural, right? But according to who? If it happens in nature, it is by definition natural.
He tries to claim in other videos that it doesn't even happen in nature, that like white corn and yellow corn shouldn't mix.
Oh, anyways.
Tell me what good, smart, intelligent, beautiful colored woman.
Damn.
And you tell me what KKK guy would call a black woman beautiful.
Which is just like absolutely insane.
Like, so some things are unnatural. If a lion mates with a zebra, you're not going to get anything, right?
Yeah.
Apparently God did not intend that if you believe in God, right?
Another title on it. See? And Martin Luther King, his goal was to walk down the street one day with a white girl. We don't call that progress. No white woman watching this show or no white man in his or her right mind, white mind, want black boys and black girls marrying their white sons and daughters, in return introducing their grandchildren as half brown kinky head Negroes. They don't want it. And
Why not?
Why not? You know why not. Every man likes a son who look like himself. I love my little boy, and my wife, pretty brown girl, look like me. I love my daughters. I don't want no blonde-headed, green-headed daughters.
Surely no, everybody wants a child.
Looks like himself.
No,
But when white people and black people mate, they get kids.
It's like this guy thinks
They get perfectly fine kids.
it's like
That's
this
what
guy
they
thinks
get.
that we're not the same species or something.
Right.
And I love his argument. Like the reason that you brought this second video up is so that he could really prove to us that he's not racist, right? Like what kind of a KKK member? What kind of a white supremacist or supremacist or whatever he said? Supremacist, yeah. Would call a black woman beautiful. Well, maybe the type like the plantation owner raping his black slaves the entire. I mean, come on, that's not a new argument either. You can't just come out in front and say, I think black women are beautiful, so I'm not a bigot.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, what you saw there was race baiting at its finest. The Caucasian man said he wants to marry his own, and that Negro should marry their own. But according to Young Turks, the creators of which is a man of German Jewish heritage and also another man of Turkish Islamic heritage, are trying to pontificate and demonize this guy for his views. Interesting.
To hold a people in oppression, you have to convince them first that they are supposed to be oppressed, whether that be sexual, mental, physical, or spiritual.
Massa. 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 Let's go.
And let me tell you right up front, any of you young people, you want to marry a black man, you girls, don't ask me to do it, because I will not. I refuse. I cannot do it with a conscience toward God and look these quotes in the face.
Anthony, sweetie. so you know we're here, so you can
It's
meet my
real.
new boyfriend.
Yeah.
There's some people
Happy
that
for you,
believe
Mom. You
this.
deserve it.
Oh, and there he is.
Hey, sweetie.
Anthony, meet Gabriel.
Yo, big man, it's great to meet you.
Mom, you're dating a black guy?
You're out to lunch and you see this woman's son getting very upset when he meets her new boyfriend, all because he is of a different race. Do you side with the boy or with mom, whose heart is colorblind? What would you do?
My man, your mom's told me a lot about you.
Seriously, Mom? You're not a Kardashian.
It's a pitiful thing. Not holy, not wonderful, and everybody should do it. Friends, it's worldly. Why is it so many black basketball stars, black football stars, black baseball stars want a white wife?
I heard this on the black
Why?
people say, black women say the same thing.
Lord have mercy. It's another defiance of God's law. It is a worldly way. And then it creeps over into the message. Tell me what's the difference in preaching against bobbed hair, painted face, shorts, all this, that, and other, being worldly, and we let this worldly means come right in, and we're afraid to say one thing about it. And let me tell you right up front, any of you young people, you want to marry a black man, you girls, don't ask me to do it, because I will not. I refuse. I cannot do it with a conscience toward God and look these quotes in the face. You white brothers, you find a black sister, you want to marry an African or whatever more, don't ask Brother Donnie. I'll quit church, suit yourself. I'd rather you quit than me get in trouble with God. Well, glory.
What?
You didn't tell me he's black.
Why would I have to tell you he's black?
Anthony, I just want to be your friend. I'm not trying to replace your dad or anything like that.
Have you looked in the mirror? You're white. Like,
Yes,
why are
I
you
know what
dating this
color
guy?
my skin is.
I didn't know you had jungle fever.
What
I'm
the
done
heck?
with this.
So
I'll be waiting in the car. And we're going to talk about our families.
Mainly German, Polish.
I am originally from Virginia. I'm African American, typical Southern hospitality type thing. I was born in Manhattan and raised there and Connecticut. I went to boarding school.
She's white.
Super white.
When we're like at her dad's house for the weekend and all of her family's there, if I have a scarf on my head in bed and I have to like get up to go to the bathroom, I'll take it off.
My family loves apple picking. We love picking berries and fruit at farms in Connecticut when we go away. And it's super fun to me.
She's always like, let's check what fruits are in season to pick. And I'm like, watch it.
Massa. Massa.
White men driving black girls' hair.
Massa.
The TikTok.
Massa. Massa.
There's a move in the message of blacks marrying whites, whites marrying blacks, and folks think it's all right. But you know what? My God still has nationalities outside the city. Now watch this. Brother Bram says hybriding, how terrible hybriding. They hybrid the people. It's a big molding pot. I got hundreds of precious colored friends that's born again Christians. But on this line of
It's gonna say
segregation
colored.
and things that they're talking about, hybriding the people. What? Tell me what a fine cultured, fine Christian colored woman would want her baby to be a mulatto by a white man. No, sir. It's not right.
They amen to it too. Jesus. Woo! It's getting hot in here. Yeah, some people believe that. Oh, I got with the next clip. I gotta show you. Yeah, there's some people in the world that believe like that.
This is 18-year-old Tamasia. She fell in love with 48-year-old Marcus.
As far as, the age difference goes, I don't think of her as being 30 years younger than me. Holy smokes.
Any white woman in this audience today, any white man in this audience today, in their right mind, don't want little black boys and little black girls coming around your homes, schools, and churches looking to marry your sons and daughters, and in return introducing your grandchildren as little half-brown, keeky-head Negro children.
Ali said that.
No intelligent black man in this audience, no intelligent black woman in this audience want little white boys and little white girls coming to marry their sons and daughters, and in return introducing your grandchildren as little half-white, green-eyed, blonde-haired Negroes. We're not seeking to lose our identity in blood mixing and our beautiful black African history. We don't hate you. We don't hate those of you who are white. We just want to stay black. We love my color. I just love myself.
I'd say the majority of non-whites are staunch supporters of marrying within their own tribe. And there's nothing wrong with that until these same people turn around and tell European people it's immoral for them to do the same. Here's what I do not accept. The promotion of interracial relationships is very targeted and promoted to white people. You see it in adverts, movies, TV, even in government leaflets and educational materials. And of course, we see it blatantly in the mainstream media, flat out encouraging it, even calling white people racial supremacists for not being sexually attracted to non-whites. This is the problem. The constant propaganda aimed at white people to mix, especially focused on European women, because at the end of the day, they choose who they make babies with.
Ooh, that's heavy. But this is something. Woo. That's again that's his belief and agenda. But that's a whole video on that. But yes, it's whoa, wow. Now I'm going to show you something that's very controversial. And have you ever seen an last America's last white only church? Check this out. I'm going to show a few minutes of it.
That brings spiritual connection.
This may look like an average religious gathering, but this is no ordinary church service. This is the Asatru Folk Assembly, known simply as the AFA, a fringe heathen group that mandates their members have Northern European heritage, a whites-only church in 21st century America. They represent a disturbing trend in contemporary white nationalism, the co-opting of heathen symbols and myths to promote racial purity and fears of a white genocide.
We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children.
I'm on a journey to understand how this group is gaining influence across the country.
So the requirements to be part of the Asatru Folk Assembly, you do have to be of Native European descent.
They say they're good people. So I'm going to take their word for it.
And to meet the anti-racist heathens who are fighting to reclaim their religion from extremists.
I'm doing everything that I can do that shows their evil deeds that they do behind those doors.
The vast majority are white men who are fragile, weak, and need a sense of purpose, and they find that in the fact that they say they can celebrate their whiteness. It's foul. It's disgusting.
Minnesota is a rural town with a population of less than 300. It's predominantly white, but there is a small Latino population that lives in the surrounding area. It was here that in 2020, the AFA attempted to purchase an abandoned Lutheran church as a temple for their group. The city council held a meeting to let representatives make their case.
100,000 years from now, I want there to be blonde hair and blue eyes. It's like any other tradition. I want it preserved. And it's worthy to be preserved. Our own heritage and our own people are worthy of preservation.
In the end, the council, in a 3-to-1 vote, granted them a provisional use permit. This is now the group's third temple. The council was warned that blocking the acquisition would violate the AFA's First Amendment right to freedom of religion. Pat Thorson was one of the members that granted the permit.
They have every legal right to buy the building. You know, and they say they're good people. So I'm going to take their word for it.
But what about the uncomfortability that people of color now have in this community because of this church that is excluding them based off of their color?
One of the members, when we had the public hearing, was saying, like, if a colored person or comes to their church, they would just politely say, you know, well, we really aren't welcome, or however they put it. You know, it was not of any violence. So if that's what they are, well, then be it.
And you said that they haven't done anything wrong, but isn't the act of creating a whites-only church in America, where race has been such a tension?
Oh, yeah. I mean, with all the crap going on around this country and the world, you know, I'm not for it. But I'm not going to create any havoc for them. You know, I mean, I don't want them coming up against us if something does go wrong, you know.
After the vote, Pat received calls from people upset with his decision.
And you said that people have called you a white supremacist.
Yes. And I called him back. And he said, F you. How did this person get my number? A guy from California. Bizarre.
You were more worried about them having your number than the fact that they were calling you like a white supremacist.
Do I look like a white supremacist to you?
I don't really know what a white supremacist looks like. I don't
Neither
think
do I.
it's a particular look. Yeah.
That's exactly it, you know.
By exploiting their religious status under the First Amendment, the AFA is given the same protections as any other religious group in America. For those living nearby, especially people of color, this sent a disturbing message. Christian and Catherine DeRuggi live a few miles away from the church.
If it was a bunch of people that came in and said, hey, we're Satanists and we're going to be worshiping Satan, there would be all kinds of outcry and uproar. And I think these people that come in and they say, you know, hey, whites only, we hate interracial, interracial things shouldn't fly. And it's kind of like, you had some people protest, but at the end of the day, they're there. The fact that that sort of racism isn't looked at the way that it should, like this cancer that can kill. This isn't we just want to worship in peace. I mean, it's an ideology.
Do you have any fears about your daughter growing up in this area?
I guess, in general, I always have some fears. We might be sending her to the Murdoch grade school in a few years, so it's uncomfortable to have them in town. I do feel like it's a little bit of a threat to the safety of, black and brown people that live in Murdoch. I feel like it's a threat to their safety.
In the months since the church's opening, hundreds of members have traveled from across the country to assemble here. They host monthly services where small groups called kindreds worship together and celebrate their European heritage. Despite their whites-only policy during ceremonies, they did allow me to go inside to see the church.
Hundreds across the nation.
Me to go inside to see the church.
So this is our main sanctuary.
The church uses folkish imagery and myths from a bygone Viking era to romanticize white European heritage and the importance of its preservation. For them, that preservation involves the exclusion of people that look like me. On any given Sunday, I couldn't just come in and try to become a member.
No. You wouldn't be able to come in and just join. There is a membership process that is required in order to be part of the assembly. So the requirements to be part of the As True Folk Assembly, you do have to be of Native European descent, because we are considered a folk religion. A lot of people will call us white supremacists, which is not true. A lot of people will call us racist. We're not racist. We're not out here trying to take over anything. We're here to gather together to call our brothers and sisters who are called to this religion. We want them to have a place to go where they can do those things and they can save those traditions and save that culture.
Do you think with this emphasis on race and white heritage that it attracts people that believe in white supremacy and practice those ideals to this church then?
This church is not a political movement. It is a church. You know, we focus on honoring our gods. Are we doing anything that would be considered
not God,
white supremacy?
gods.
No. I mean, I guess I don't know why people would be coming to a church for politics.
But that clearly clashes with the vision of the original founder, Stephen McNallen, who has consistently drawn on white nationalist rhetoric since the group's founding in 1994.
I will defend my race. I will fight for my race, primarily with words and ideas, but I will fight more literally if I have to. The existence of my people is not negotiable.
This explicitly political messaging was co-opted by white
Anybody see this
nationalists
video?
in Charlottesville,
This could be one of your
where
neighbors.
shields covered in Norse symbology were displayed.
Something that unites us all is that we believe that white heritage and white culture is something that's vastly important and worth fighting for.
And by Jake and Jilly, otherwise known as the QAnon Shaman, a capital insurrectionist. In 2017, Matthew Flavel took over as the group's national leader. He claims the members of the AFA weren't at the Charlottesville rally, but I was curious to hear his thoughts about heathen symbols being used there. When you saw the pictures of people waving assature symbols in Charlottesville, other groups have denounced that in this group.
Well, I don't denounce that. I'm not in the denouncing business. I think that was a very complicated situation. There's a lot of things going on there. We encourage members of our faith to participate in legal and appropriate ways, however they'd like in the political process.
Would you consider what happened in Charlottesville to be a white supremacist rally?
No, I would not.
What would you call it?
I'm not sure. I think I would call it a peaceful protest rally.
It was disturbing to hear someone speak so positively about a rally where white supremacists chanted racist slogans and a counter-protester was killed. To combat the AFA's messaging, a collective of local protesters formed the Murdoch Area Alliance Against Hate. Victoria Goulamond is one of its co-founders. Do you think the people of Murdoch came together to oppose this church? Do you think it was a general connecting point?
No, I think it fractured Murdoch. There are definitely people who silently oppose it. I think the vast majority of Murdoch would never have anything to do with it, but they did not like that they had to be held accountable for their silence on these issues. Murdoch didn't suddenly become racist because the As True Folk Assembly arrived. There have been systems of oppression and racism that have not been called out for many generations in Murdoch. This was a wound that is now festering, but it's always been there.
Do you feel unsafe being in Murdoch?
Yes, absolutely. They're a group that has connections to the KKK. They're a group that has connections to really violent white supremacist groups. Their ideology is very tantalizing to those who are impoverished, those who feel like they've suffered, those who feel like they don't have a place. It preys on our natural instinct to want to feel special.
Reach inside the box and tell it.
I'm gonna stop it right there. Wow, ain't it? this is the other side of America. You're going to have to one day face whatever nationality you are, but you need to understand that there's some place, even in the most suspected places, you just never know who you're talking to, and you never know. But here's another short video. He that the same previous creator called Thossi. He called this the swirl agenda.
White man has brainwashed the so-called Negro to the point of believing in white supremacy so much that today some Negroes think that they're not making progress or they don't have anything unless they're living in a white neighborhood, unless they have the white man's neighborhood, a seat in the white man's school, or a position on the white man's job, and they even have taken it so far they don't think they're successful in life unless they have a white woman as a wife. Job, and they even have taken it so far they don't think they're successful in life unless they have a white woman as a wife.
So, I broke off my engagement with Paige and decided to go back to the girl I dated all through high school. I want you to meet her.
Statistically, the black man, not the black woman, but the black man dates and marries outside of his race more than the men of every other race in America put together as a proportion of the overall population. In other words,
you know
if
who
you're
that
going
is,
to
right?
tell me that
On
love
previous
is
videos
blind,
I've done.
you're going to have to explain how is the black man's love for the white woman so much more blinder than every other man's love for women outside of his race. Clearly, this relates to slavery. Clearly, this relates to the inferiority complex. Clearly, this relates to I wish I was a white man complex. And clearly, this relates to self-hate and having an issue with loving a woman who looks like the mother who brought you into this world.
I'd like you to meet Meg.
Umar. I thought that says Umar. All I gotta say is Umar. He never ceased to amaze me. Some of the stuff this man says. But you know, if you're an interracial couple, I hope you don't get offended. But you got some people
took over their Instagram, and we are all loving that they did. And as you can see, Finn was fascinated.
Definitely ready for his close-up.
Well,
Kind of looks like
part
you
of
when you take a picture.
It kind of does, actually, yeah. Very close to the camera.
Because I want to apologize, not only to my coworker, Jason, but to our entire community. I said something yesterday that was inconsiderate. It was inappropriate. I love you so much, and you have been one of my best friends for the past year and a half, and I would never do anything on purpose to hurt you. And I love our community, and I want you all to know, from the bottom of my heart, I apologize for what I said. I know it was wrong, and I am so sorry.
Well, Alex, thank you very much, and I do accept your apology, and I do appreciate your apology. I want to let everybody out there know that Alex is one of my best friends. I mean, we do what we do here, and you know, it's not as if we see each other here and then we leave and we go home. We talk every day, or almost every other day. I've told you things. I've shared things with you as a friend, and I do appreciate you, and I do love you. All that being said, and Alex will be the first to admit this to you, what she said yesterday was find a way to replace those words with love and words of affirmation as well. You know, what we do here as broadcasters, we use words. Words are the tools of our trade, much like a...
You were quoted as saying, "How is it going to look when I go home to my hometown
and am treated like an animal.
No.
Are you mistreated in this country?
No, ma'am.
yourself?
I'm never treated like an animal. No one will lay a hand on me. Bothering you. You look so.
I don't like his arrogance. I think
You don't like
no,
That's because I'm black.
no, sir. Listen, I'm in a minority in this country here. I'm from England. And
you're a minority. It's England. You own England. You own England and America. You white. You can go to one of these cities you want to go. Are you from England? You more free than me.
Things that you should know before dating black men. For some reason, they're really sensitive when it comes to talking about black culture.
Not me.
Yes.
Okay.
They use the N-word, and you just have to be okay with it.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta, but
But
I
you
don't
can't
endorse
use it.
I don't. That's true.
You can never touch their hair. You don't have hair. Oh, and you should never say that to a black.
Yes, definitely don't say that. All right, it's my turn now. What to know before dating a white girl? One, they always get their makeup on your face, in your shirts, wear light clothes. Two, hair everywhere on your clothes, in your shower tray, in places that you didn't even know hair could be. Hair is there. Do something with it. And three, it's actually a good one. If you have kids with a white girl, you're gonna have some beautiful little mixed babies. So I'm gonna just go ahead and throw that out there. That's what you should know.
But you said you would never want to have a child with a white guy. Why is that?
Because the mixed babies is pretty. It's the best of both worlds. Nah, so what I want my baby to look, how I want my baby to look. Whatever.
You just want to.
White babies are cute, but I just want a mixed baby. I don't want.
You guys are white. You guys are white. You white too?
I'm Puerto Rican and white.
Okay. If the slave masters could see this.
There's a move in the message of blacks marrying whites, whites marrying blacks, and folks think it's all right. But you know what? My God still has nationalities outside the city. Now watch this. Brother Bram says hybriding, how terrible hybriding. They hybrid the people. It's a big molding pot. I got hundreds of precious colored friends that's born again Christians. But on this line of segregation and things that they're talking about, hybriding the people, what? Tell me what a fine cultured, fine Christian colored woman would want her baby to be a mulatto by a white man. No, sir. It's not right.
Any white woman in this audience today, any white man in this audience today, in their right mind, don't want little black boys and little black girls coming around your homes, schools, and churches looking to marry your sons and daughters, and in return introducing your grandchildren as little half-brown, kinky-head Negro children. No intelligent black man in this audience, no intelligent black woman in this audience want little white boys and little white girls coming to marry their sons and daughters, and in return introducing your grandchildren as little half-white, green-eyed, blonde-haired Negroes. We're not seeking to lose our identity in blood mixing and our beautiful black African history. We don't hate you. We don't hate those of you who are white. We just want to stay black. We love my color. I just love myself.
And one of them is a book about our family. It's called The Wheat Money. And it's about all the ways that my family benefited from racism. And so when we met, he was homeless and had a felony record. And I had a master's degree and a great job and all this stuff. And I moved into his downtown neighborhood, you know how that goes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I started looking at what has happened in the last 150 years since slavery. And what happened to his family, what happened to mine. And mine was lifted up over and over and over again. And what I learned was his having a felony record was not an accident. I stumbled across a book called The New Jim Crow. It's by Michelle Alexander. So what I'm saying is every white person in America needs to read my book and called The Wheat Money. Okay. You can go to my website, thewheatmoney.com. Okay. White people need to read that because unless you already know the real racist history of this country, and if you're black, you don't need to read a book to find out the real racist. I mean, you're living it every day. Right. So if you're black, you need to look into the new Jim Crow.
Why? Giving back, okay, may provide some financial resources. Yeah. But going back provides an intangible psychological stimulation and motivation for the children to want to do better. Yeah. Your presence is infinitely more important than your profit. Okay. And then we turn around and blame the hip-hop artists for being bad role models. Lil Wayne ain't supposed to be a role model. Right. Jeezy ain't supposed to be a role model. The reason why they're role models is because the real role models turn their backs on little black boys. See, 50 years ago, the dentist lived on the block. 60 years ago, the doctor lived on the block. The engineer lived on the block. The electrician lived on the block. Now they move out and they get mad at the rappers. The only reason why Lil Wayne is a role model is because the doctor, lawyer, dentist, and engineer ran to a white suburb and probably married a white woman.
I'm gonna leave that alone. Oh, this is kind of woo. This is one. That's what leads. I'm gonna show this guy. He was one of my favorite ones, and I like what he said in this video. And everybody probably remember this guy named Dixon.
I'm back. Just woke up a few minutes ago. Got in my truck and had something on my heart. And just wanted to share with y'all something, kind of a moment in my life where I realized something about myself. As far as male privilege and white privilege, it was one of those moments, one of those experiences in my life that happened about 9 years ago, maybe 10, with my ex-girlfriend who was black, and I wind up putting her at risk, not really knowing or understanding what was happening, but I learned a valuable lesson, and no matter how, as white people, how understanding you think you are of race, you probably are not, because you don't have that full reality. Even if you're in a relationship with a person of color, you still don't have that full reality because you're not experiencing it on the same level, obviously, as they do. So anyhow, I'm going to share with you guys something, a little story that happened about 10 years ago. I made this film called Theodore, and it was in the film festival circuit, and one of the screenings was in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And so I asked my girlfriend at the time, who was black, and loved her dearly. At the time, we'd been together about 10 years, and asked her to come with me to the film festival, and wanted to, hang out with her that weekend and share time with her that weekend, and she didn't want to go. And I was like, well, why do you not want to go? She goes, I'm not comfortable in a rural town in East Tennessee. I thought, well, I'll protect you. I told her, I said, I'll be with you. Nothing's going to happen to you. You'll be fine. And I don't think it's going to be that bad. We're just going to a film festival. I mean, how bad can it be at a film festival? So she reluctantly agreed to go after me persisting and kind of, politely begging her to go. She agreed to go. And when we got there, she goes, I don't like this. And I said, well, what is it? I didn't feel it, but she did. And I said, I don't understand what's wrong, because I'm just seeing a bunch of white people, and I feel comfortable, obviously. Well, I'm not thinking about it from her perspective, and she's saying, I don't feel comfortable here. And I was like, well, I understand, I understood to a degree, but I didn't. And so she said, well, I don't see any black people here. And I was like, well, there's one, and, he's walking the street, looks poor, homeless, and so that's the only black person I remember seeing in that town. I'm sure there were more, but I just don't remember seeing too many. And so I thought, well, yeah, they're oppressed. Obviously this is an oppressive town to black people, but I don't feel like you're in harm's way. She was like, well, I do. I was like, well, you're with me. She didn't feel comfortable. So we went on to the film festival, and everything went good. No problems at the film festival. But we had a red flag. We went to lunch and went into just a pizza restaurant. A normal-looking family pizza restaurant. There's this big-ass Confederate flag hanging down from the ceiling. And I was like, what the hell? And she was like, I'm not eating here. And I was like, okay, well, I understand. I'm not either. So that was kind of the first clue, for us that, yeah, she was right and I was wrong. Because what kind of a place would have a Confederate flag hanging down in the middle of the restaurant? It's not, obviously, that's hostile for people of color, especially African Americans and black people. So, anyhow, we went on and finished film festival, no problems. Then we went to a movie. I asked her to go, and she did not want to go. She wanted to get the hell out of town. And again, I politely begged her to go to the movie because I'm a big movie fan. And she went to the movie theater with me, went to the movie theater, and then after the movie, I went to the restroom, was in there about 10 minutes. On the way in, though, a guy bumped me in the shoulder as he was leaving the restroom and as I was entering in, a country guy. And I didn't think anything of it, but it bumped me kind of hard. I thought, well, maybe, it's just an accident. So I said, excuse me, and kept on going. But I remembered what he looked like because I saw him. But I came out 10 minutes later, and I saw my girlfriend. She was waiting for me in the lobby, and she was standing there shaking and crying. And I thought, what in the world happened? So I asked her, and she said that this guy, the same guy who bumped me in the shoulder, walked up to her, stared at her, got in her personal space, 6 inches from her face, and stared her down for about 45 seconds. Didn't say a word, and walked away. And I got angry. I went after the guy. I looked in the parking lot, didn't see him. 10 minutes had passed, but I had failed to listen to her. My privilege as a man, my privilege as a white person had showed. She forgave me, but it took a while for her to forgive me, and I apologized, of course, and I learned a great lesson. That we white people don't listen to people of color. Even when we think we are, we're not listening because we're not living that reality. And so I just want to give you guys this as an example of how privilege works and how that we're set up and we are conditioned and indoctrinated, basically, as white people, to live in our own little privileged bubble, our own little white bubble and box, and we never think outside of that white box, and we have to. And so when people of color complain, and when you see these statistics and data about white supremacy and how it operates and how it works, why don't we try to believe it rather than dismiss it and write it off and pretend that all black people are somehow paranoid. But the problem is that as a culture, we have been conditioned to dismiss and deny reality racially. We are the most ignorant and most illiterate group when it comes to race in the world because we profit and benefit from a system designed to give us resources and privileges and benefits as white people. And we live under that system. So we have to realize these things. We have to understand that until we can start coming into reality racially, we all fail. All of us. So again, find some responsibility, find some reality, and find some morality, and let's begin to address our system and our culture of white supremacy. And don't be like me and not listen to people of color when they're telling you about their own damn reality. So, me and her broke up about 3 years after that, not related to issues of race, but just like normal couples. But anyhow, she's happy now, and I'm still trying to find the right one, but that's another story. But anyhow, I want to share that with you guys, something I'm not proud of, but I felt like I need to be honest and share with you my mistakes as a white man living in this messed up world of ours. But thank you guys for your time. Bye.
Thank you, Dixon. Thank you, Dixon. Thank you. Thank you for being honest. I commend him for doing that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to see if this thing is working.
because a lot of people don't even acknowledge that there's problems like that, and had to come over. And like he said, some people say, don't just think it's just because you haven't experienced it. Don't think it's a deal. But yeah, there's some people that still believe that and encounter that. And you see, I had to show both sides of not only from the different channels, but from different perspectives on both sides of the aisle, black and white. Why some black people in agreement with some white people about the interracial thing. Some on both sides. So this was an eye opener. So if you come across some people, and if you a white male, white female with a black spouse, with biracial, any other group of friends with people, if you come across some people that make some insensitive racially stuff, 9 chances out of 10, this is a sign. So that's for the whole purpose of this video. I hope it don't offend anybody, but you got to see the other side and what some people think. And you see some people get hostile about it, like the last case with Dixon. They was hostile about it. And don't get me wrong, like it could have been a gay couple, they get harassed too. But it's something about black and white that is just forbidden in this country. We're one of the countries because it's like, even though yes, we're human, but America is based on race. We have a history of racism. This is the truth, and it takes transform in different ways. And sometimes, whether you black or you white, I hope you don't encounter somebody like that. But when I tell on my videos, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. Like the one video I recorded, like when the one guy with his black wife, when the guy was just sitting around and he was at the bar, and he being a white man, they felt privileged to start cracking jokes. And the first thing that came up was a black person, and they didn't even know that he was married to a black person until they found because some people see when they get around the same people, their origin, they feel comfortable around that. So they can feel like if they're individuals, not everybody, but you get some individuals, and it could be black, but mostly white. I've heard this, and they start picking out mocking different people, Asian people, black people, Jewish people, homosexuals, Hispanics people, everything, and put it into a stereotype. And then that's what that is. You go he kiki ha ha, and that's it. And sometimes they so bold, they'll do, if you the only black person, they'll do it right in front of you. Some people don't have no respect. Some of them, they don't have no respect till you speak up. Of course, and you see what the reality of it is. So, but that's part, and they knowing that if you are in a relationship with the black person, if you're a white person, listen, they do that on purpose. They know they know that. Whether it's somebody in your family, somebody your friends, or you being friends with a black person, y'all close and tight. But somebody, unfortunately, will slip up and say the N-word or something really off the wall like that. You're gonna come across somebody. It may not be in your immediate family, but it's going to come a time that somebody will, and it's up to you. Are you going to stand and agree with it, or are you going to correct them, and basically just get away from it. Don't let someone tell you something like that, because it started with something sneaky, something like that, and it leads to something else. Then if you laugh and joke around it, they'll do it again. It's like someone with any, if someone was shy, small, big head, whatever, has some kind of awkward body in people, you see it. And some people never grow up. They still act like a child. Like, you see a bunch of kids picking on the kid at school, whatever. Some people never grow out of that. Because people they want attention. They grow up, believe me, and they act childish even when they're an adult. They ain't got sense enough to know that there's other people who are different. That even somebody around them is different. But I just wanted to show you that some people believe. I didn't want to show the whole video because I didn't want to get it. I didn't want to be negative, but I just want to show you. If you're wondering why some people, this is how extreme that it is. Like, even to the point that the one video to show that a white church, you got to see this is for real. And there are towns like that throughout America, still like that. Not everybody don't feel that way, but you got some people that do, and they feel comfortable because majority of people look European looking. So they feel like they feel emboldened to be like that. So when you go into a bar or a restaurant or whatever, not a restaurant but a bar or something like that, or hanging out at somewhere, and they see somebody, black guy on TV or whatever, or come across some situation and say, oh, da 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 da, boom. And as soon as they say something called a black something or N-word, subconsciously that's racism speaking. Sometimes you can tell the person's, and they try to, I'm not racist, but they let it slipped out. Trust me. That's how I know, because I've been around people like that who slipped up, and it taught me about it. And ain't that something? And some people, and really, in some senses, some churches are like that, still predominantly white. And have different views of different people. And believe that there's a separate God. Yet, believe it or not. So I hope this was a very enlightening video. But you got to see the other side. I call it the other side of America. That's America that some people don't know. You don't know it. It could be your very neighbor. Could be like that. They're like your typical small hometown people. Safe neighborhood, everything. But you never know what's in that safe neighborhood. You never know what type of people in that safe neighborhood. You don't know if they're white nationalists. And you see. So, demonically and evilness is everywhere. And it don't come in a certain color. But the media try to paint it in one way. With one people. So, and I'm glad, so I had to use the last one. Dixon had to bring it forth. I'm glad he brought it. He told the truth. See, it's all about truth. It ain't about skin color. It's about truth. Some people really do. People in this world, you're going to come across someone like that. So I hope he opened your eyes. Anybody's looking at this video, I hope the last man opened up your eyes, because that's the reality. So I'm not just picking something out just to be picking or be negative, be picking. There's other people that's seeing this. That's what I'm saying. And I hope this video enlightens some people. Even if there's someone from a different part of the world. Wake their eyes up. Because some people do see color of skin. So my name is James. Hope you enjoy this video. Hope you see next time. It gets gooder and gooder. So hope you see you on the next video. You guys take care and be blessed, and hope you have a safe holiday. And till next time, take care.